Well, Don always treated me very special. He always kind of treated me like we were married. I think he found in me something that he has not probably found since, and that was somebody that was very. It was 1976. This was right after the beginning of, and we had a very special relationship because of that.
They were colleagues, collaborators, even lovers, but Stevie Nicks says these 7 names are etched into her memory for all the wrong reasons. From whispered betrayals to public clashes, their stories span decades of creative chaos and personal anguish. Why did these specific personalities ignite such strong emotions in her? And how did they shape the music we all love? The real reasons might surprise you. Before we move on, I would like you to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Number 1, Lindsey Buckingham. Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham were a duo that defined a generation, both in music and in drama. Their relationship began as romantic partners long before they joined Fleetwood Mac, but once inside the band, the cracks quickly began to show. What started as a shared vision of artistic passion turned into a collision of personalities that fueled countless hits and some unforgettable feuds.
My relationship with Stevie is fragmented. She left me, but there was never really any chance to get anything like closure because that takes perhaps some distance.
Their music became the battleground for emotions they couldn't resolve anywhere else. During Fleetwood Mac tours, fans witnessed glimpses of their private turmoil spilling onto the stage. From the sharp glares exchanged mid-performance to Buckingham's cutting remarks in interviews, it was clear their partnership had devolved into what Stevie would later call a constant fight for air. Over the years, Lindsey allegedly tried to minimize her impact within the band, even accusing her of overstepping creatively. His firing in 2018, which Stevie was said to have instigated, felt inevitable after decades of tension reaching a boiling point. For Stevie, the experience was bittersweet. She once admitted it forced her to grow, but left deep emotional scars that never fully healed. Number 2, Don Henley. Stevie Nicks and Don Henley shared a fiery relationship marked by passion and heartbreak, one that unfolded both in private moments and under the shadow of their demanding careers. Henley, the drummer and vocalist for the Eagles, seemed like a natural match for Stevie, with both navigating the whirlwind of 1970s rock stardom. Yet, behind their shared glamour was a love story that quickly unraveled under the weight of personal tragedy and clashing priorities. At the heart of their breakup was a deeply personal moment that would haunt Stevie for years. When she became pregnant during their relationship, she made the difficult decision to end the pregnancy, a choice she later said was influenced by her commitment to her career and her fear of bringing a child into an unstable environment. Henley's reaction reportedly left Stevie feeling even more isolated, as he portrayed himself as the wounded party in the situation. Ultimately, their egos and aspirations proved too large for one relationship. Stevie walked away, choosing freedom over compromise, a decision that would define both her career and her life. Number 3, Courtney Love. Courtney Love represented everything Stevie Nicks worked hard to distance herself from, a whirlwind of chaos and controversy that embodied the darker edges of the music industry. Their personalities first clashed during a backstage moment at a tribute concert, when Courtney's unruly behavior became impossible to ignore. According to witnesses, her unfiltered comments and abrasive style left little room for the professionalism Stevie has always prized. It was a moment that confirmed what Stevie had long felt about Courtney's role within the industry. Stevie later described Courtney as a cautionary tale with a microphone, pointing to her self-destructive tendencies as a warning for younger artists. To Stevie, the industry often glamorized turmoil, giving the spotlight to performers who courted disaster rather than true artistry. Courtney, in her eyes, was a reflection of this mindset, an artist consumed by the very chaos she created. Their clash only solidified Stevie's own values. She held tighter to the personal and creative boundaries that had kept her grounded for decades, even when the industry celebrated the exact opposite, and she wasn't done confronting challenges to her artistic ideals. Number 4, Madonna. Madonna burst onto the scene in the 1980s as a bold pop icon, redefining what it meant to be a woman in the music industry. With her ability to dominate both the charts and the media, she quickly became a symbol of reinvention and self-empowerment. But to Stevie Nicks, Madonna's rise reflected a shift that felt increasingly removed from the artistry she valued. For Stevie, music was always rooted in authenticity and deep emotional storytelling, and she found Madonna's emphasis on spectacle over substance disappointing. Their paths crossed briefly at an industry party where Stevie walked away unimpressed. While Madonna radiated confidence and star power, Stevie felt the interaction lacked the kind of creative depth she looked for in her peers. Madonna's carefully crafted image and marketing genius didn't resonate with Stevie's more introspective philosophy. In Stevie's eyes, Madonna's legacy redefined femininity in music, but at a cost. The focus on polished visuals and mass appeal overshadowed the raw, emotional connection Stevie believed was essential. For her, the artistry was getting lost in the spectacle. Number 5, Prince. Prince was a musical force Stevie Nicks deeply admired, but their attempt to collaborate proved that respect doesn't always translate into creative harmony. Their relationship began on a high note when Stevie became inspired by Prince's Little Red Corvette, using its groove to craft her own hit, Stand Back. Prince not only gave his blessing, but joined her in the studio, laying down keyboard parts before quietly leaving. It was a magical moment of synergy, but their next encounter would tell a different story. Eager to collaborate further, Prince sent Stevie a demo, a piece filled with music but devoid of lyrics or vocals. He expected her to finish it, but Stevie felt the unspoken demands weighed heavily. "I felt like I was being pulled into a place I wasn't ready to go," she later admitted. Prince's precise creative vision, while genius, left Stevie uneasy, clashing with her need for artistic freedom. Stevie ultimately stepped away from the project, holding firm to her belief in preserving her voice. Even genius she showed couldn't dictate her path. Number 6, Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl has built his reputation on pure energy, a driving force that's propelled him from Nirvana to fronting Foo Fighters. But when that energy met Stevie Nicks' creative approach, sparks flew, and not in the good way. Their informal studio session, meant to be a laid-back collaboration, quickly turned overwhelming as Grohl's dominating style took over. From the first riff, Stevie realized their creative philosophies weren't compatible. Grohl's signature wall of sound approach filled every moment with relentless volume, leaving no room for Stevie's subtler contributions. When she tried to suggest a slower tempo or lyrical tweaks, Grohl brushed it off, responding with loud laughter and even louder music. By controlling the session's pace and tone, he didn't just stifle Stevie's input, he erased it completely. For someone as fiercely independent as Stevie, this was unacceptable. Midway through the session, she had enough. Getting up, she proclaimed, "This isn't music, it's noise," and walked out. For Stevie, this experience was less frustrating than clarifying. Her artistic voice would remain uncompromised, no matter the collaborator or their legacy. Number 7, Christina Aguilera. Christina Aguilera has a voice that can shake walls, a vocal powerhouse whose style turned her into a pop phenomenon. But for Stevie Nicks, Aguilera's reliance on vocal acrobatics often overshadowed what she believed to be the core of true artistry, emotional connection. Stevie once described her experience of hearing Christina perform as being in a room with someone who's yelling compliments at you, capturing how she felt the intensity lacked the subtlety and depth she valued. The tension between them became impossible to ignore during a televised tribute concert. As Aguilera delivered a performance filled with soaring high notes and elaborate runs, Stevie watched from the sidelines and felt unimpressed. She reportedly left before the finale, a deliberate choice that sent a clear message about her disapproval. To Stevie, the performance prioritized technical flash over emotional authenticity, something she found increasingly common in the industry at the time. Behind the scenes, Stevie saw Aguilera as emblematic of an era more focused on spectacle than storytelling. For Stevie, artistry demanded restraint, intimacy, and a connection that no vocal technique alone could convey. Stevie Nicks' legacy isn't just built on her music, but on her refusal to conform, even when that meant standing her ground against some of the industry's most iconic figures. Each conflict, whether with Lindsey Buckingham or Dave Grohl, wasn't just about ego or personality. It was about protecting her authenticity in a business that often demands compromise. Through heartbreak, clashes, and creative chaos, Stevie stayed true to herself, turning even the darkest moments into fuel for her art. What about you? What's the cost of staying true to your passions? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.